Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the June Educational Meeting of the Fibromyalgia Support Group. Our speaker today is Jean Jordan, who specialises in kinesiology and pain, and she's just telling me how she loves pain, so there's plenty more that I'm sure you can have. So I'll hand you over to Jean, and she will tell us all about kinesiology and the pain clinic.
Thanks very much, Sue. Okay, I have to read through my notes and I have to sit down because the presentation is nerve-wracking. So welcome to you all here, and I think welcome to people who are going to be seeing this on the web. I come to you today to actually tell you the importance of exploring natural therapies. For those people, there's a lot of it available now. I'm trained as a kinesiologist and a naturopath. And over the years, I've developed many techniques and treatments that can be amazing for many people. I work out of a clinic on Bannister Road, Canning Vale, and I specialise in treating chronic pain, both physical and emotional, or quite often there is a combination of the two. So first of all, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself and what I do. Later on, I hope to demonstrate on perhaps one or two of you of the amazing things that I've learned over the years. Firstly, my credentials. This is not my qualifications. The first one is I claim to be a wise woman, and I do that because of my age. We can definitely do that. I've been around, seen many things, been to many places. I did some research in 2006, and that was on the treatment of chronic pain, with particular emphasis on musculoskeletal pain. That was very, very interesting. What I learned from that was it got me onto the track of considering emotions, are very much key to treatment. I also have personal experience. This was in 2010, major surgery. I learned about the repercussions of medication, what painkillers do to you, good and bad. So I know about pain and also terminal fear that goes with a major diagnosis and major surgery, and the recovery process, which I'm still in. But the most important thing that I've learned is from every client that comes into my room, their experiences, their story during treatment. So every time someone comes to me, it fills up my information level a little bit more. So I believe because of the health of the clients that come to me, what they teach me, I get better at what I do. And I feel that's one area where natural therapists are very good, because we recognise the value of what you bring. Each person has their own pain story. It's theirs and theirs alone. Each person will have their own unique treatment plan. Never are two of them the same. So just for a moment, if you think about your own pain story, it may have started a long time ago, and generally it's continuing. So the second thing I want to talk about is my philosophy and the treatment principles. So these are some of the things that are hopefully going to show you or give you some information about what I do. Because all naturopaths and kinesiologists tend to work in their own different way, and we are all unique. First thing is, in any chronic pain situation, you must, and these are my opinions, you must treat the whole person. You must treat from head to toe. And also you must take into consideration the mind and body. This is so important in chronic pain. Its importance cannot be underestimated. We are, each and every one of us, a whole being, a moving, thinking, feeling, being. So my treatment is holistic. You may come in for a migraine and find me working on your feet, right? But feet are very important. Now, just going down to the treatment I do, the first thing to consider is physical structure. A body must be in balance or it's going to hurt. Say, for instance, I had one lovely lady came in to me, and quite often, if pain's involved, I will ask somebody to walk or to move. Now, the walk that she gave me was this one. She was very upright, but the walk was like this. And I said, how did that feel? Oh, it feels fine. Okay. So basically, what happens if the body's out of balance? Imagine my left hip. The muscle in there, for some reason, is weak, right? So that's not really doing, it's not stabilizing me. What's going to happen? Well, my right hip is going to go, okay, I've got to keep this woman upright. I'm going to put some more tension in there. Tension in the hip then will affect how I stand and how I walk. So can you see and understand the imbalance that one muscle, being a bit lazy, not waking up and doing its job, affects the whole body. Now that's the structure. Imagine that I'm sort of, now with my weak muscle, I'm sort of overcompensating and I develop a little bit of a limp. I want you to think about what's happening to the organs inside the body. They are held in place by ligaments, tendons and muscles. So they are going to get unbalanced. So everything that gets unbalanced still has to function. So that is going to affect how well that organ functions. It's going to affect the hormones and chemicals that it produces. So it's very interesting. From one little muscle, a lot of problems can arise. And that's what I found in working with chronic pain. So first thing is about physical structure. So the body must be in balance. What'll hurt? Cramps, tight or tender muscles. So when you come to me, you'll get some hands-on treatment. Most people leave my place feeling very calm and relaxed, because that's a good place to be. Now, what I'd like to do is, just for this information on structure, I'll ask my associate Susan to come up. Right, Susan, if you can just lie on your back. Susan works with me as a naturopath in my centre. So now she's going to be totally relaxed because I'm going to work with her body. She's pretty balanced. Now, if you want to stand up to see this, you can if you're in the back. What happens is when we relax, the feet should be, whoa, she was a bit nervous there too. Okay, the feet should be at a relaxed angle. Sometimes people will come with their feet straight up like that. Sometimes, and this is one particular young lady that I worked with, when she came, sorry Susan, but this is hurting, basically one foot was going out that way and the other one was going to join it, right? So, not that I work at correcting those, but I noticed what's happening. After several months of treatment, not treating this part of her body, but treating her stress and anxiety, which came from mainly anticipation and presentation, her body started to balance itself and relax. One important thing that I do is help the body relax, so therefore it can heal itself. You don't heal anything, the body heals itself. Okay, now Susan, if you can turn over, please. Another thing when people lie on my table is I'll just... Now, once again, Susan's nice and relaxed. The feet are fairly flat on the table. So all of you can go home and sort of check each other out when you get home. Now, quite often, I will have some people, and if you just relax, Susan, okay, their feet will be resting like that, and the other one as well. So there's a big gap here, and these people will probably have a lot of foot problems because there's a lot of pressure on those. Okay, they're almost pressing down onto their feet. And again, stay relaxed, Susan. Basically, that one might be that way, and the other one might be that way. Right, and this is just some information that I can check. This is not everything, but it's just one small thing that I do. Thank you very much, Susan. Okay, so that's physical structure. The next thing is neurological functioning. Often, this is often not considered, but it's major, and I want you to think about when you are in long-term stress or long-term pain, you can lose brain function or appear to lose brain function. Is there anyone here that finds at times, the brain gets a little bit foggy? Can't remember? I got my first laugh. Now, what I want to check with you is when we are enduring chronic stress. Now, does anyone know what chronic stress is? Those words I'm using. Anyone like to share?
Chronic is something that gets repeated all the time.
Yeah, chronic, yeah, that's the definition that I'm using. Chronic as opposed to long-term, keeps going on and on. It's not the level of how stressful it is, it's just ongoing. An example of what can happen, say your alarm clock doesn't go off, so you wake up late for work, right? There's no hot water in the shower because when it rained yesterday I've got solar heating. Then the next thing is my car doesn't start. So I've had 1, 2, 3 stressors and it's still not even 8 o'clock. So then I drive to work, hit too many traffic lights, I get there, my boss is in a bad mood. What is happening is that any of those are okay. If I'd maybe just had the alarm clock, then I would have got over that, calmed down. Then when my boss came in not feeling too good, I would not have been so stressed. But what you're doing is putting one thing on top of another. So one of the aspects of my treatments is neurological functioning. So when we're stressed, we produce stress hormones. And these hormones are detrimental to the body. And they can actually kill off the good guys. Some you may have heard of is dopamine. Some people heard of dopamine. It's actually, in some respects, it's the good guy. It makes us feel good, right? There is, and that's what stress can kill off, dopamine. There is also something called nerve growth factor. If you think about what it's called, that sounds pretty important because it helps our nervous system grow and regenerate. If you have these stress hormones, they will actually kill off nerve growth factor. So stress is really, really important. And neurological functioning is something that we do in the clinic. Now, I want to do a demonstration of how to improve neurological functioning. So, would somebody like to come on the table? Perhaps a little bit of pain is fine, but if it's going to be too difficult to climb on the table, that's me. Would somebody like to come on and have a go? Okay. Susan, you can come and help me. What's neurological mean?
Nerves.
Yeah, okay. It's making messages and things, okay? Can you lie on your back, please, Rose? Now, Rose, I want you, if anything is uncomfortable in any way, to say, stop, all right? Now, how's your brain feeling? Okay, I'm going to ask you to do a little bit of a movement. First of all, does that arm want to move? Is that okay? Yes? Now, will the other arm move? Okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to move your arms as much as you are able to do. All right. Now, what's going to happen is Susan and I are going to be working on your legs. Right. Now, just relax and let me move. Right. So basically, I'm just going to very gently lift your neck up. How does that feel? I'm going to do it. You don't. Okay? So basically, I'm just going to lift that a little bit. Right? And I'll probably stay with this actually because of the camera. So just totally relax. That's it. Let me have your leg. So lifting that. Now, what you're going to do is you are going to move that arm. At the same time, I'm going to lift this leg. Okay? Ready? Just move it. And down. And then I'm going to move this one. And down. Alright, keep going with your arms and I'll bring the legs in. And down. And down. Just. So this is an exercise to help you. Now I'll tell you what's happening. This arm, and some of you may already know this, is using that side of the brain. Okay? So I'm asking Rose to do that arm while I'm actually doing this leg, which is controlled by that one. She's very good. I didn't know that one was coming. So by actually doing those two at the same time, it's helping the brain. And it's also, and the reason it's about moving. I did this with one person in my research, and it was one of those really very effective treatments that I think it was her second appointment. What happened is she was moving her arms as much as she could. Her friend was on one leg and I was on the other, and gradually she started to move more and more. So not only was it helping her brain, we were actually getting her moving and the blood flowing in her body. So one of the things you can do, right, I'm sure you can have a few techniques to take home today. I think I'll be right. Basically, if you can lie down flat, what you can do is, and you just stay nice and relaxed for me, Rose, if you can't move very much, you move as much as you can. Now, I'm going to ask you to do your feet this time. So when I move this, I just want to just move the foot a little. Great. Okay. And then go on to the other hand and this foot. Yeah, and put it down. So if you can do this for yourself, if it is really, really difficult to move, you can actually move your partner or friend, ensuring they are totally relaxed. Rose, did that hurt?
Oh, only because my muscles hurt.
Okay, right, fair enough. So what we can do, but it was, what we're looking to do is get the body moving to get the blood flowing. Right. Thank you very much for volunteering. Okay. Right, now nobody's going to escape. Can you all stand up, please? I was told that people weren't able to sit down for too long sometimes. Okay, so find yourself a little bit of space. Where's camera? I would stand on the table, but I won't follow. Okay, so as much as, yeah, if you're going to hang on to it, that's good. All right, so basically, you're just going to move a little bit. Okay, and go for a walk. As much as you're able to do. If you can only do an inch, that's fine. If you can't even move, just get your brain to think about it. Okay, all right. Try to get that one and that one. Okay, all right. Now, all right, a little bit sideways. Oh. Now you're thinking. Now you're thinking. Yes. And as I said, you can hold on to a table or something. Usually I get it wrong now. Okay. Let's do a bit of John Travolta. I think we're the right generation. Okay. That's right. You know what's happening? Another good thing. when you're trying to do this? You're laughing. Yes. Yes. All right. This is for the advanced people only.
No, I cannot do that. I'll fall over.
Okay. People said I can't do that because I'm going to fall over. So what you can do is you can think about it. The arm's going back, think about the foot moving. That arm goes back, think about this foot. Okay? So whatever condition you're in, you can do something even by thinking about it. And as I've demonstrated there, you can do those lying down. Right? You can just be sitting there and doing a hand and a foot, because you're helping brain integration, right? You're helping reduce the stress and everything functioning better. Thank you. You can go back to sleep again now. Okay, right. Treating the whole person. Physical structure needs to be balanced. Neurological functioning. Okay, now, we get even more important as I go through, and that's treat the emotions. As we move through life, things happen to us, good and bad. Sometimes lovely, sometimes terrifying. Right? So one of the things that I do with people is I help them to baggage. When I say, this is what you do at my place, come along, leave your baggage behind and go home without it. Now, I want to do a brief demonstration again on somebody, if I may. I'll just specify what I'm actually looking for. Somebody who's really open-minded, because I'm going to show you something called muscle checking. And basically, they will sort of have a little goal, oh, I feel great today, or whatever. And I'm going to show you all how an emotion can be released, or one of the ways that I use to do that. You won't be saying anything, you won't be sharing anything, whatever, except, oh, that was interesting, all right? So have I got a volunteer who would like to come up to the table? Yeah, that would be great. I'll put this to the other side. And before you get on the table, I'll just do something that kinesiologists do. It's called switching on. So if I can just ask you to come over here for a moment, just give me your arms. Next to you. Just put your hand there. Now just put your two fingers on your just touch your toe. Okay. Now if you can just come and lie on here, on your back. Okay. Have you got a little goal or a little wish that you want?
Yes.
Okay, so can you share the goal with us? A little bit of it.
Just want to be able to do a little bit more.
Okay, I'd like to be able to do a little bit more. So what I'm doing here is just going to illustrate a couple of things. First of all, we have what we carry with us of the present, and we also have a history. So to just feel a little bit better, we have a goal. So I'm just going to move this arm. So if you can keep it lovely and relaxed, it can actually talk to me. It can say yes, and it can say no. So now for this goal, do we need to go to a different age? So we're just staying in present time. Now, I'm going to actually go through a list of emotions. I won't say, I'll tell you, but I won't tell the rest of you. Okay, so. There's an emotion. Now, we're going to do this with, what is going to do this with ears on? All right, now, I've identified an emotion for Gina. It's her emotion. I've said a word. It's for her to think about in her head, to recognize or not recognize. Now, we're just going to use breathing to actually allow you to de-baggage. Leave it here and not take it home, okay? So I'm just going to very gently hold your head, close your eyes, and I want you to just slow down your breathing and make your breathing a little stronger. Slow it down. Inhale nice and strong. And every time you exhale, you're just going to breathe out, let go, release that emotion. So with every out breath, you're releasing and letting go of that emotion. So your breath is a gentle breeze going around your body, picking up that emotion wherever it's stored and allowing you to exhale it and release it on the body. All you need to do, Gina, is just be with your breath. Every out breath, a little bit more emotion leaves your body. Okay, you notice that Gina's arm is going down, and that's saying, okay, got rid of that one. Alright, so that emotion has been cleared. So when I tested and went through my list, when I actually said an emotion or saw it on my list, the arm came off. Now, when I actually say that emotion, even you think about it, Gina, the arm is locking. It's like it's not just stressful anymore. Now, I have no idea what Gina's done or released, and nor does anyone else, but it is, you do it in your mind. So this is just one small technique. I have a myriad of different techniques. And when people come to me, basically they tell me their pain story, and each one works in their own way on any of the different things that I've done. Thank you very much. Good. I like that comment. All right. Gina, have you got anything to say about that, or about the process?
I don't know, it felt relaxing. And it sort of felt
Come join me.
felt relaxing, and it did sort of feel as if you could sort of, release things. So it's definitely worth doing it than not doing
Okay. Good volunteer. Okay, sometimes good things happen. So, questions, I will be asking questions just when I'm finished, so if you can save them, and I'll do a review to help you bring those questions back again. Now, this is really the most important thing I think, that makes it for me so successful in actually getting rid of pain. I haven't even got to my person yet. I must talk faster. This thing, when I work with people, it's about empowering you, giving you that control. That is so important. So it really is important to be very positive. I'm going to be offering a special voucher there for people to come along and have a consultation with me. but you need to think about, I'm going to go along, I'm going to be positive. Right, now, I do have to tell you, I've just looked at the clock and I'm running a little bit late. I want to tell you about a client of mine. A lovely lady has been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and she wasn't happy with the advice that she got from the specialist, and that was to take medication, and he couldn't do much else for her. So she went looking for a natural therapist, and she found me as a kinesiologist. Her pain story was very complex, and she had many symptoms. It's actually in your file there. You may see the before and after. That is her client history. Now that was in October. She's given me permission to talk to you about her symptoms, but I won't go through. There was a lot of emotional baggage that we had to go through and clear over her life. She, not sure if I say she's 45, I think. Right. So she made remarkable progress. In 14 sessions since the end of October, she's now totally without pain. She's got promotion at work. She's feeling more confident and capable than she's ever felt in her life, because it's a very holistic process. Not only are we looking to get rid of your symptoms, but we are looking for you to get better and better and keep improving. She had, first of all, the way my treatment works, she had 7 weekly appointments of an hour, and then as she got better, reduced to fortnightly and then monthly. I'd like to share a couple of things with you. She was making really good progress. The first day she came to me, she'd sat in my chair, and when I wanted her to move to the table a little bit later, it was, have they all been there?
Yes.
Right. So one thing she still has a little of, and that's a little stiffness. Okay. She turned up in January, having worked since October. Yeah, she's going really well. And it was, like she'd fallen in a hole. We talked about it, and it was January, and it was preparations for the children to go back to school and to their activities. The thought of driving the children to their activities and looking after the house and the rest of the family just blew out her system. So we're talking there again, the stress, the concern of being able to do everything. So we had a chat, and I suggested she did have to have a talk with her family, especially her husband, who's a fly-in, fly-out worker, and make them understand how life was difficult for her. Next time she came in, one son had got a moped and was taking himself to his activities. The younger son was going to a club closer to home. And chores, one man, 2 sons, and chores were being shared out by everybody. The only problem was, rather a female problem maybe, was that she had to accept a lower standard of tidying, cleaning and whatever. She just had to say, okay, fair enough, I'll leave it, I'll live with it. All right. And once she had sorted this out, this big stressor that was coming along, again, she really got back on the track to getting better. But it illustrates the effect of stress on chronic pain. So when people come to me, the most important thing is they do leave, just as you were saying, Gina, to have just a bit of space, to relax, switch off the muscles. I asked her last week when I saw her if she got any messages for you. And first thing she said was to always be positive, even though it's very, very difficult. She did not want to accept the diagnosis of fibromyalgia. I'm going out and I'm going to find people to help me. And to do everything that you can to get better. She was not accepting of what the specialist said, that there was nothing could be done about it. So that's what I'm also going to do in a moment, is talk about some of the supplements that was used in her treatment as well. So I think probably, because of the time, I will just open that up to any questions, please.
I had a hip replacement 3 years ago, and I've noticed that my body is now slightly off balance compared to what it was. Will it stay that way, or will it ever come out again?
That, I mean, if you think about what has happened to the body, you know, it's in shock, there's a lot of muscles not working. In answer to that, I feel it's about, yes, getting the body back into balance, teach those muscles to be in place. And there's a lot of different activities, moving, rocking, massage, and different things I do to help that. As an explanation, if I use myself rather than talk about Susan, I had major surgery, and it meant a scar from here to here. I said to the surgeon later, some of the things don't work. He said, well, you're here, aren't you? But the interesting thing is what I did with working with kinesiology. I actually managed to get the muscles, the nerve messages going to actually do some rebalancing. Because luckily there was a person came over from the UK, and she actually, one of the processes you can also use if you want to work on movement, which I do in my clinic, is, as I was saying to you, when you're doing your cross crawl, just think about it. So the mind is really, really powerful, but in answer to that, so I think it's really important to find some way or some practitioner that can help you get straightened so you don't have the imbalance. Because if you stay with your imbalance, then that is going to affect your body. Any other questions? Yes.
So what bit of this, or is it all of it, that helps the pain?
All of the above. When people come to me, they will set a goal. And it's quite often the first thing they will say is, I want to be pain-free. I cannot fix people, but a goal that one lady gave to me in my research, she said, I just want to wear my red shoes again. Right? I can see from some of you it makes sense. Because red shoes meant, you know, I look feminine, I was going out having fun. So that's the goal that she set. And over the weeks that we did, we started to clear and change things. So, because that meant regaining my life. And all of these things gradually will help to reduce and relieve the pain. Someone else was standing. Yes?
I have bursitis in my hip.
Yes.
And I have had it for years and years and years, and I've even been told to not come back to some sort of physios and people like that because they can't do any more for me.
Yes.
Can you help?
We can certainly get together, because I would be asking you for the history of the bursitis. And when I'll just briefly say about the pain story, because it might help some of you make sense of why on earth am I in this place. But if I'm sitting talking to someone and I'll say, you know, I injured my knee, I hurt my hip. When was that? Oh, it was just after I sort of moved from South Africa, I moved from England. Or, oh, my first grandchild was born. Or my daughter's marriage broke down. So there is that pain story. And basically, working to balance the emotions, the body, then can help. Bursitis is inflammation. Yeah. If you think about inflammation, it's red, it's angry. So, you know, it's, yeah, we'd love to see what we can do with that. Yeah. The interesting thing about setting a goal is the treatment goes the way that your body wants it to go. I don't prescribe this treatment, that treatment. As I did there with Gina, I muscle check and say, what would the body like me to do, because your body in its wisdom knows. It's about layers of onions. So we may, the person in the back may have to go through a couple of layers to find out why this bursitis is there. More important, not why it's there, but why it isn't getting better. Isn't that perhaps one of the questions you're asking yourself, you know? You may be able to find the start, but why is it hanging around? Any other questions?
I wonder, is it always stress related? I went to see a specialist and I had this sort of last month's chronic pain, and he kept asking me, are you stressed? And I said, no, I'm not a stressed person, I don't have much stress. I still have the pain. And he just kept asking, you know, stressing about the stress, and I thought...
I think what we think with stress is that acute stuff. Oh, you know, oh, my mind's gone like this.
Yeah, I don't have...
Okay.
No.
Can I just ask, maybe, have you got a history? Have you had some interesting things or challenges in the past?
Well, I moved to Australia.
50%. Yeah, quite often. You know, somebody
Maybe
said...
unconsciously, sort of.
Yeah, so it may be, subconscious stress, but it's certainly worth checking out. And good on the person you were talking to, the specialist, saying that. So maybe. Somebody once told me about moving from one country to another, and there are a lot of people who come from other countries. When she moved, she'd probably be in her 30s, a couple of children, and she came with her husband. She said, in a lot of ways, it was worse than death or divorce, because you lost everything. You lost your surrounding family, you lost your community, you lost your support systems. Because, yes, you're choosing a new life, but that is a big change.
It can also be a positive experience.
Almost definitely. I'm not saying that it isn't, but that was the one person, she said that to me and made me think, oh gosh, yes, we're in our mid-30s, we want to. It is definitely a positive, but it's also, in some cases, there may be some things that we may have left behind. No, Australia's great. I'm Australian. What I'm able to do here. So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
And anybody, I'll be here. I hope I'm staying for tea. And please come talk to me if you want to go on the table and have a little bit of movement or rocking or gentle hands-on. That's fine too. And Susan's here as well.
Just ask one question.
Sorry.
How much are your sessions?
The sessions are $95 for an hour. Generally, an hour's really needed. Sometimes with some people, I will do half-hour appointments just because it makes it a bit more financial. And what I'm doing today is there is a special offer for anyone in this group that would like to come along for initial consultation. Because I love to see bring the pain. And as I said, that was an example of a client there that I gave you, which is somewhere in the middle of the number of treatments that can help. But a lot of it is to do with taking on board techniques, learning things. As I said, it's about being empowered. So it's up to me to help you to find little things, as Rose has got. She can do a little bit of movement. Gina can practice her breathing and her relaxing. So it is about taking on board those techniques.
Can you claim any of that on private health or Medicare or anything?
It does depend on your colour, whether it covers naturopathy, whether it covers kinesiology.
So it's
Best to check with them. Yes. Anything else? We've got a lucky draw, which we'll do in a moment. But I think that's probably all I've got. I'll be talking a little bit about supplements a little bit later.
No, we'll get it to stage. We don't know what it is. We went yesterday.